All right, guys, welcome back to another week of the Market Pulse with Dana and David. I'm here with Danna Hutton. Dana, how are you?
Good, David. How are you?
I'm good. We're wrapping up the end of summer here. Kids are getting ready to go back in school in and around. I assume most of the other counties kind of follow suit, right? And so if you're here in Middle Tennessee, this is the last week of July. Everybody's wrapping up final minute plans, all the parties. Y'all's kids throw parties for going back to school? I never threw parties going for back to school. Yeah. We always find somebody's like, it's an end of summer party. We're having a pool party at our house. And so that's exciting.
You're throwing one at your house? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, we were actually trying to throw an end of season baseball party. But as soon as I put the notice out for the baseball party, Jagger called me and goes, hey, we just found out the end of summer party for our class is over at so-and-so's house on Friday. So I had to reschedule. So all the parties, so it's good.
Instagram post that you'll appreciate with Jagger. It was like a story. It said, just about to celebrate the end of baseball season, but I only have 2 days before football season.
That's right. Yeah, we started football in May, and it's always, I say, baseball takes priority up until around mid-July. Then football takes priority. But it's hard because you go like, do you leave your kids in like hitting and pitching lessons, during the football season so that they get the consistency? Do you give them a break from it? I asked Jagger, I'm like, what do you want to do? And he's always like, he wants to do all the things.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Figure we'll give them a little bit of break till we get back in school.
Yeah. You never want them to get burnt out. But I feel like at this age, they're able to tell us, and sometimes, I feel like we also have to push them. We should have had Blake with being out of town so much for baseball this summer. We should have had him going to practice with varsity and JV and doing two-a-days. And not let him make that decision. I think sometimes they need to be pushed into that decision.
Yeah, and vice versa. I've had enough nephews that played a lot of baseball that loved it in the moment, but by the time they made it to junior and senior year, they were just spent, right? And I worry about that with my son because he has loved it for so long. I mean, he's played, half, if not 3/4 of the year, every year for how many years in a row, right? And so he does love that sport, though, and I love it too. So it's hard, especially with him being my last. So.
I always feel like they love in the moment sports. It's like while they're in it, they love it so much, and so it's hard then for them to transition their brains into that next sport. And then my boys are loving golf right now; they're eating up with some golf and fishing. So bring it on.
Yeah, that's the best. If I could just do anything all day, it'd be golf and fishing. And I don't even fish that much, but it is just very relaxing to get out and do it. Yeah, so we're wrapping up, right? We're coming into the fall. Like, I'm already excited now. I'm going oh, man, we got to get miserable through the next few weeks of the Tennessee heat. Only thing we got to look forward to is the fair, right? That's one reason to be hot and sweaty is to go get some fair food. But I'm already thinking about, bonfires and Friday night football games and all the things. Like a lot of our clients, as we're starting to kind of come to the end of summer, are starting to look up. And we always jokingly say, everybody calls us and says, oh, my God, I meant to buy a house this summer. And now here we are. Before schools get started. So, yeah, it does move. I can't believe it's already August. So you look up and you go, tell us about the market, Dane. If someone was thinking about buying a house, is the market moving? Is it quiet? What are you seeing?
Yeah. So definitely the market is moving. And, as we've said before on here too, right? Buyers just have more options, not necessarily more options to choose from, but because there's longer days on market, they are able to really take their time in making a decision, which definitely makes sellers anxious, right? If we say, hey, somebody's interested and, they're still trying to get their ducks in a row, or we've made the short list, and then, our clients are consistently following up on that, just like I would if I was a seller, right? Once you have somebody, express interest. And, there was this, what I would think then.
Say that again. I think that was really important that everybody hears it. That was. Did you just snort?
Zip that out. Right. I think what we have is really a gap here in Wilson County of kind of like sellers' expectations, whether that be days on market or how they need to present their house, and buyers just have these options, right? And so they're taking their sweet time. And so I think, we really have to set our sellers up and the community up that, average days on market right now are 51 days in Wilson County. And Wilson County was really trailing the other counties around us in pending sales.
And that's that doesn't mean the time they list. Is that from the time they list to the time they go under contracts, 51 days? Then you still got on average, probably 30 days to close. So you're somewhere in the 80-day range, 81-day range. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I hear you saying that, and I think about we see that in all the counties, right? Rutherford County, Davidson County, Sumner County, right? Williamson County. So that is happening a lot. I always say time kills all deals. I do think just human nature, 90% of folks are going to run from pain, and so a lot of that is making a decision. And so the uh, buyers, a lot of times it's an emotional purchase, right? You're spending a lot of money. It's your shelter. And when they think about making a decision, making the wrong decision, sometimes they get paralysis by analysis, right? They simply just go, well, I'm just not going to make any decision in fear of making the wrong one. And that's where, again, hopefully they have good agents by their side. Interesting industry that we work in, right? Where a lot of our competitors are also the co-agent that we're communicating with, right? And working with. I always love that about our
That's a
industry.
valuable, I mean, that comes into the decision making.
100%. Yeah.
If I have information on the other agent and, it's something that could affect the deal and the transaction for my clients, I'm definitely going to share that with my clients based upon my experiences.
Yeah, we do a lot of the business in the area. And so if we've got experience with agents being shady or agents being manipulative or agents saying one thing and doing another, that comes into play 100%, right? We know who's going to be difficult and who's going to try to maybe work without integrity and who's going to honor what they say. And given we're just representatives of our clients, I know there are times for all of us that we get put in a spot where one thing is said and then people change their mind. And until something's signed, that's part of life and part of contracts. But we do. We know when we work well with others. The time kills all deal piece is where I fear for buyers right now that they are prolonging decisions. And that could be a blessing, it could be a curse, right? If the market shifts dramatically and we see any give in rates or any optimism in purchasing power, that becomes a real gate opener for the market, which is you're gonna be sad that you waited. Right now, I'm pretty pessimistic on that happening anytime soon. And so I feel like, buyers have the right to kind of take their time and look. But it's one of those I just go like, man, life's got to go on, right?
Well, you've got to set the expectations too, right? You have to price it smart and price it right out of the gate. We can't price our home to list based upon what the other neighbors is actually listed for. We have to look at the pending sales and how many days on market and the closed sales and really go off that because, quite frankly, homes are selling below list price as an average of, 1.5% to 2.5%, and if you list it too high right out of the gates, you're going to end up chasing the market down versus it chase us, right? We both know, David, and within the first 1 to 2 weeks, we know if we hit the nail on the head on price, or, based upon, number of showings, we can look behind the scenes and see how many views we've had, both on the main websites as well as our social media accounts. And so after 2 weeks, we become a little stale, right? And that's when buyers and agents recognize, and a price improvement, I like to spin it as a positive versus reduction. A price adjustment or a price improvement isn't a bad thing, right? That's going to re-energize the listing, but you don't want to wait too long to do it or you're going to end up hurting yourself, right?
Yeah, that's where we hope to be the business mind because again, we understand buying and selling real estate is emotional. It's emotional for buyers, emotional for sellers. It's why when we represent builders and represent commercial transactions, represent larger professional buyers and sellers, the conversation's a little bit different because it is just a function of the business side of it. And us trying to help people balance that is really where the skill comes in, right? When I sell my personal house, I'm emotional, right? I'm calling you, I'm calling other agents saying, I had one of our agents at KW called me this week and said, hey, they're listing there. They're like, look at the comps for me. I can't tell if I'm pricing it because it's just hard when you're in the batter's box, hard to analyze your swing type thing. So it's hard to tell like on your own property. So we think for our clients, there's 3 things that go into it, right? Is it marketed well? Is it priced correctly? And do I have a skilled agent by my side that knows how to navigate the ups and downs of this in real time? Because making quick decisions on some of this stuff matters. The marketing, that's one thing we're passionate about, making sure that our homes get maximum exposure. So then it comes back to it. If I were putting my home on the market right now, I believe my theory would be to put it about 5% below market value of where I think it is, because I know that homes are on a downward trajectory and I'd rather get ahead of it. I'd rather price it 5% below and sell it quickly and have to reduce it 10%, 6 months from now because the market just keeps trickling. Again, I've said it on here a lot. I'm pessimistic on the market right now. I told my wife last night, I remember 2008, 2009. This feels like a bottom. Like we've said that for a few years, like we're kind of bumping along the bottom. We've been bumping along the bottom, but I do believe we come to a screeching halt here for the next few months. And it's just going to be painful for everybody. And yet, guess what? you got to get through it, right? You charge the storm. You go, this is part of it, guys. If home values came off 3 to 5%, I wouldn't be shocked because we got to. Otherwise, sellers just have to sit on the home, right? You just now become the highest bidder for your current house yourself, right? And that works for a short period of time, but then life goes on, right? We have to relocate to the grandkids. We have to downsize because we have too much space. We have to sell because mom's going to live with our sister, whatever it is, right? The life moments that move the homes. And again, I know people are going to say like, David's all doom and gloom right now. It's like I get it, and yet this market is cyclical. I look at it as a business standpoint. I go, there's not a whole lot of silver linings on the horizon. Until we get some type of rate relief, this administration seems to care less about the affordability of homes. We're trying to solve for X. And so you go like, yeah, the recovery should have happened. We should be feeling the recovery in Q3. And I will argue it's going to be another year at least before anybody pays enough attention to make enough difference. So that's my soapbox on where we're at with the market. I say that because if you're going out there with this, like, well, let's just list it at this and try it and see what happens. Good luck with that right now, right?
No
That's just not the best strategy. Yeah.
To meet with clients just yesterday, and they're like, well, when's the best time? Because they've got about 2 months of work ahead of them, right? I went over there and that's what I do. I love going over and like, I don't want you spending time, money, or an energy on things that aren't going to bring you value or sell your home faster. And so just going over there and creating a strategy on what, a checklist on what needs to get done, and kind of then a secondary checklist. Okay, if you have the time and money, right, then go ahead and do these things. But so many buyers are just wanting move-in ready, right? That curb appeal, that, I've gotten feedback on some of my listings lately too, that, there's too much maintenance or there's too much work, right? And so then we kind of have to kind of spin around and, okay, what do we do? Well, we'll go ahead and, advertise, a seller concession with an acceptable offer and just kind of call that out. But just trying to find things that will appeal to buyers and still make it, set our sellers up for success.
Yeah, a lot of pieces go into that, right? I got a client right now going through a divorce, needing to sell the home, and then also the reality of terms of what does life look like in this new environment to go buy something where they have some place to call home and some stability. And same thing, right? It's like we can't ask top dollar for a home and the shower and bathroom are gutted, right? Like we got to finish those things out, and those are challenging in situations like divorces because like who pays for it? Where do you get that money? How do we handle it? But then also on the flip side of that, like, well, could we just go buy a smaller home? But again, you think about that in terms of just, again, trying to give wise counsel. Yes, someone could go buy a $250,000 home right now, but if you're having to spend $1,000 to $2,000 a month in maintenance and repairs, is that really what you want to do on your Saturdays? One, but then you think about Jennifer and I bought a house years ago, and our payment on it was only like $1,000, right? But we were probably spending $2,000 a month remodeling it, upgrading it, fixing this, fixing that. So you're like, we're spending $3,000 a month one way or the other. Would we have been better off just to go buy the house, right? At that payment and that price point. So I think that's the counsel piece that we love to help our clients with. We love to kind of sit through and strategize and go, again, not our job to make the decision. Our job is to provide the information to help the clients make the best decision possible, right?
100%.
All right. So homes are still moving, as doom and gloom as I want to be.
Yeah.
We are still averaging here about 5 million a week in sales, which is pretty par for us. So again, when I look at the market data turned negative around early June. So these won't really show up in the national report. But locally in Middle Tennessee, we are below last year's sales pace. All of a sudden, we've crossed kind of that 0% growth. We were actually up for a while in Q2. And then I think with this war starting and with gas prices going up, with interest rates going back up, now we're kind of seeing that negative effect happen. Home prices are below where we were last year. Home sales are trending below where we were last year. And again, just nothing on the horizon right now, Dana, to suggest otherwise, except I've said this, you're always going to sell about 4 million homes a year nationally, right? That's just that because of divorces, because of people having babies, because of life events. That's kind of the bottom for our population count for our country, 3.9, 4.1. So you kind of go like, all right, I'm calling a bottom. That isn't real hard. We've been at this number for like 3 years, right? So you kind of go like, all right, probably doesn't feel drastically different. If you need to move, get a good agent and do it. It can be done. And thankfully, Dana, prices have held up relatively well. You figure most market research, you see more of a significant price drop. So the lack of available inventory due to the lock-in effect creates this environment where our homes expensive. Yeah, homes were expensive in 2003 when I bought my first house, right? My mom thought her $38,000 home in the 80s was expensive, right? That's all relative. So all that to say, get a great realtor, call Dana, call me, call somebody at the Huffaker Group. Let's have a conversation. We sell more real estate in Wilson County and surrounding counties than just about anybody on planet Earth. Would love to be a voice of reason to be able to help you guys. All right, Dana, what you got planned this week? Back to school? You got all your pencils and your folders?
No, not a thing. So that is high on the to-do list.
I saw my son on the ladder last night, scrummaging through the school supplies over the years.
That's a good reminder. I need to do that.
Trying to piece it all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Enjoy your week. Hopefully we'll talk to you guys soon. See you, Dana.
See ya.